Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today it's NICA forward. On the start I missed my clip like 2 times. Awful. I fall back a bunch of positions and I just have to catch back up to that front group because I started second row at this race. And overall you can see I'm getting around people pretty easily, so it's not the end of the world. Also, sorry for not posting for so long. It's been a chaotic month with school and racing and things like that, but as you can see here, I get around these 2 Berkeley riders, and one of them being Troop, and up to the top 3, where we have 3 SRV riders leading everyone out. So I'm in a pretty good position right here now, and I'm pretty happy with it. Not too many complaints. And then right here, we're turning into the first climb of this race, and that's when normally I would attack and make my big move. So you can see I'm putting down big power to catch back onto these top 3, get on their wheel. And then once I actually catch on, the power drops off a little bit, and that's because my coach told me this race is very windy and just drafting, and do not attack and do not pull the front group, right? So I'm just supposed to draft. So right now I'm in a pretty good position. You can see there's where the watts dropped. And I'm just chilling, 3rd, 4th wheel. I prefer to be 3rd wheel, but 4th wheel is alright too. And just kind of holding on to that position. And then right here, I'm just shouting back, hey, how many people are behind us? And like someone behind me says, literally the whole field, which is true. There was like 40 people behind us on that climb. And then this flat section here is very crucial to draft. And you can see the pace is low, because you can hear he's asking if he has a chance with the girl. Like, the pace is low. We're being conversational. It's not super fast right now. And then right here, start finish. We finished our first lap. I'm now 2nd wheel instead of 3rd, which I'm happy about. And we're being led out by Stockton. And right here is the feed zone up this hill. It's an uphill feed zone in this race. Right after start finish, just as like a noting point. Yeah, and my legs are feeling amazing because we haven't done much effort. We were kind of in zone 1 for a lot of that. And then, because the pace is so low, we have a group of, like, a pretty big group. And, yeah, so the pace really slowed down here. And because of that, we have such a big group. As you can see, this is, like, my zone 2. So I think the group was 10 or 15 people at the front. And then because of that slow pace, once we hit this wide fire road climb, everyone's trying to get around and make their move because they have legs to make moves, and this is a pretty good spot to make moves. But the SRV riders who are on the front controlling, they don't want moves to go by. They don't want people to be attacking. They're kind of happy with this pace. So as you can see, they're strategically blocking. So Braden moved to the right to block off that wheel, and then I try and come around left a little bit here, and Mariano tries to go around on the left. Stockton blocks him. They almost crash actually from that defensive. I try and get by. I get blocked as well. Gulliver sneaks by because my teammate Gulliver sneaks by because Stockton was blocking me, so he couldn't block Gulliver. And then almost the 2 SRV riders block each other a bit, and then Braden swerves by to block me again. So just really controlling that front group, trying to keep themselves on the front, which is, it is a tactic, but then it results in that of a lot of almost near-miss crashes, and you see this in national races a lot, so it's a good practice for nationals actually. And then right here, one of those riders, Mariano, who attacked earlier, broke his chain, so now this is a really good time to attack and put on power and make a move, break up this front group, because someone. Yeah, so now there would be a gap, but we don't really attack. As you can see, we kind of hold. Yeah, I'd say we should power it, but we don't really, which is unfortunate. And then the pace is not too high again, and I start to chat with my teammate Gulliver just to see how he's feeling. And we're just all like talking to each other, kind of spinning up the hill. And then I got to talk to Cal behind me, who's been running a good amount.
I know the scene that nice, dude.
Yeah, so it's like So very respectable 5K time right there.
18, low 18.
Don't judge my mile time for that. But yeah, this is like a very slow, pace we're doing in a race, which never happens for me. I'm always in a fast group. Here I was talking to Cal about my team. Shout out to Sharp Bicycle in Lafayette, California. If you ever need your bike fixed or parts or maintenance, I know the mechanics there. They're wonderful. They're like some of the best mechanics in my opinion. Absolutely recommend going there for any of your bicycle needs. It's out in Lafayette, California, and again, Sharp Bicycle. Thank you for sponsoring our team.
Sharp Bicycle. It's the best bike shop.
See, I even say it during the race. Like, we're going slow enough where I'm able to like do shout outs during the race. It's like a chill pace. We're all, yeah, kind of complaining about. I mean, also it's a windy race though, so at the front, it's harder for the people at the front to pull. So they're probably doing more power than us, and none of us are really taking turns in their defense. But also, they're not like letting us take turns. Anyways. We're now talking about some downhill bikes that we saw out here. And then here we're talking about Nathan Peterson, who used to be in our field. He moved up to varsity. And then Sean Davies. Both of them were in Austin, Texas, for a big national level road race. So a lot of this high competition level field was not here at this race. And then we start talking about who wants to pull, right? Because the pace is kind of slow. We need someone at the front to speed this race up. Everyone's trying to get my teammate Gulliver to pull. He's like, no, I don't want to. And in this situation, SRV should pull. Because there's 2 Oakland Composite riders, me and Gulliver, and 3 SRV riders. So in this scenario, SRV should be pulling. So here, we're on the flat section. I'm like back in that third wheel. Gulliver goes around on the left to the front. You can see both, yeah. And then also you can see here, a new person enters this. It's Magnus, who is on San Luis Obispo. He makes a good move, gets around Stockton, gets third wheel. And he was in this group, because this group was 10 to 15 still. And you can see, here he is, he's still by, and then I get around cleanly. And then, if you can hear, just yo, yo, yo. So I think someone almost scratched him out by aggressive passing. And then I was confused on how like some of these riders were sticking in this top group, because like a lot of times this group splits into 4 riders, but this time it was not. It was not splitting up. It was staying as like a 10-person group. Here we finished lap 2. Situations changed a bit. Now we have Gulliver on the front, Braden second wheel, and me third. So 2 Oakland riders in the top 3 and 1 SRV rider. But right behind us we have 2 more SRV riders. So as you can see, Stockton's going around on my left side, so it kind of changes that chemistry back to what it was before. And then right here, Gulliver's asking, hey, can you pull? And I say, oh, I'm feeling like too tired. And that's a lie. I've been going chill this race, but what I really want here is SRV to pull at the front, because they have more riders, more resources, and I don't want to waste me and Gulliver's legs here. And you can see Stockton's holding Gulliver's wheel really well, and like his teammate tries to cut in to get second wheel. He's really holding it and just is holding his line. And now we finally got our group to top 5, is what we were just saying. Like, it's finally a top 5 group, which hasn't been for this whole race, but they're pretty close behind, so we got to keep up this pace. And then here, this is exactly where Mariano. He didn't move after he broke his chain, which is unfortunate. I'm sorry that happened to you. And then I'm relaying to the front. Hey, we gapped the 2 people behind, so it was me. It was the 2 SRV riders and me. And I was trying to get them to pull and get a bigger gap, but it didn't really work. And then here I try and launch around on the left a bit. I get blocked by Braden. Go around on the right. Get blocked by Raiden. At this point, I'm just kind of annoyed, because like even if I wanted to make an attack or a move, I would just get blocked, which just kind of, it's not very fun. It's unfortunate. Get into this descent third wheel too, which I'm happy about. And then I had to fight fire with fire a little bit there. I said on your right and then passed on the left, because I kept on getting blocked, so I couldn't really do anything else about it. So I like, sometimes you do have to use not the best tactics against people if they're using hard defensive tactics, and you'll see that at national races a lot too. Gulliver yells, "Riders back," and he was yelling at the riders ahead of us who were in the other division, and I thought he was talking to people behind, like about people trying to pass us. I don't know, my brain was not really working this race very much. And then here I relay again that we have a gap, so then to see if the front people will pull or make an attack. They don't really. Coming in on our third lap. Yeah. What I do here is I put on a little bit of an attack. And I know this is through the feed zone, and I've heard that's frowned upon, and you're not supposed to do that, and I understand, and I do. I didn't know that at the time, though. I didn't know that it was frowned upon to attack through a feed zone. So, my bad for that. But I do get a bit of a gap, and this is kind of my move for the race. I'm putting it all in on this move, just because I'm like, you know what? It's a good time to attack. It's close to last lap, and you can see there's my coach. He's like, "Let's go, dig, dig, dig. You got this." Unfortunately, I get caught. Here's me on the hill, and the riders behind me catch up, and I pull off immediately because, as my coach said, don't pull anyone around this course. So instantly, I'm like, nope. You guys, please pull. I'm good. And I get into third wheel, so that's a pretty good scenario I'm in. But unfortunate that my attack didn't actually work out. And then I try and get onto Gulliver's wheel here by getting around on the left. As just like, see, because I'm like, I would prefer to be second wheel behind my teammate than third wheel. But Braden defends it well. He holds his line. And you'll see this, I need to work on this at local events and national events. So this is kind of a learning experience for me of getting practice with, trying to be aggressive and sneak in between those gaps in between wheels. Because as you can see here, I don't go to third wheel, I actually go to fourth wheel, which sucks. This happens a lot at races of getting shuffled back, and it's somewhere I can improve. And then here, Braden's at the front asking, "Hey, who's in this group?" Trying to figure it out, and it's 2 Oakland composite riders and 2 SRV riders. So that's the loadout, and I can see he's trying to like make something tactical go on because he's like asking about it. Just something to note. And then here on the downhill, Gulliver and Braden are both excellent mountain bike descenders, and me and Stockton are less so good mountain bike descenders, and that's because Stockton had his mountain bike broken for a long time, so he hasn't had practice. And he's been on the road a lot. So as you can see, this gap kind of increases between us two and them two. They just kind of ride away a little bit. But coming up on this flat section, I'm like, okay, I can hold on to Stockton's wheel and get a free drop up to them, which is kind of the best way to do, right? Make the other team work if they're going to pull up to their own teammate. So I'm like, okay, I'll just hop on the wheel and save some energy here. But you can see it's like nearing the end of the race. So everyone's kind of giving it their all. Hold on to this wheel and just get like a free ride up to the front 2 riders, which I'm very happy about. I'm happy about this tactical move. And as you can see, we caught right back up. We're right back on their wheels, which is perfect. That's just how I wanted it to go. And then right here, I try and get around on the left. I was trying to be a little bit greedy, of, hey, there's a gap. I can swoop it in. But it doesn't work out. And I fall back to fourth wheel. And then here, I just want to get in front of Stockton leading on the downhill. So I do, and I think it's just more power, and at the end of the race, everyone's tired, so you can't really do defensive things. But I'm happy about that. I feel like I did a good move. And then here, this is like a critical move for the overall race. You can see Braden attacks around on the right for Gulliver. Gulliver just gets right on his wheel. But this last section is really hard to pass. So as you can see, we jump forward here to nearing. This is basically at the end of the race. I'm kind of dropped from those two, but Braden's in front. And at this point, you can't pass. Like, there's no places to pass. You'll see a single track, and then it goes into like a single tracky downhill thing. So the race, after about, I would say this corner up here, because this is the last passing opportunity. This corner right here, the race is kind of set in stone. It's going to be Braden, then Gulliver. I mean, there's a chance you can get around in a sprint, but it's not very easy. And I'm happy coming in third, take a pretty clean line in, and I'm just trying to not, slip out, crash, do anything dumb right before the finish. But as you can see, this sprint section, you could sprint it, but it's too short and too bumpy to get a true, real good sprint in. So it goes Braden first, Gulliver second, me third, which is pretty good. We got 2-3 as a team. I'm pretty happy about that. Nice racing with all the SRV riders and all the riders out there. And thank you for watching the video. I'm going to try and get out a lot more content on a more consistent upload schedule now. I think I have a little bit more time where I can do editing and stuff like that. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next one.